Good evening, everybody. This is Coach Larry Beecham here at Legendary Marketer. I want to thank you so much for deciding to jump onto tonight's training webinar. I'm here corporate tonight. I'm usually at home, but tonight I decided to broadcast live from here. So hopefully you're ready to learn tonight. I'm going to cover some ground tonight on what it takes for you to create content that's going to help you to run ads, to do blogs, to do videos, to be valuable to the marketplace. And I'm going to do my best to break that down in as much detail as possible to make it clear for you. So do me a favor. If you're right now just jumping on, go into our Facebook group right now and make a post and let people know that we're on live and they need to get over here so they don't miss anything. Do me a favor, go right now and check that out. Or do that, I should say. If this is your first time on our training webinar, I want to welcome you to Legendary Marketer, to your very first webinar. It's going to be one of the best you've ever seen because I'm doing it. But the bottom line is, if you're here, we know that you want value, so thank you for jumping on. For all our regulars, thank you for your continued support of our weekly webinars. Now, I want to do a couple of things before we jump into tonight's training to kind of help you understand the landscape of how things work around here. Let me make sure I got my markers. I'm going to pull my whiteboard out here in a little bit. We're going to do some training. But first of all, this happens every single Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. There's Nico walking behind me. Thank you, Nico, for walking right in view of the camera. Nico's our video guy. He's awesome. You'll see more of him. You'll also see more of his work here pretty soon. But we do this every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and each week it's different. We're going to a lot of times have special guests that come on who have a specialty in their marketing skill. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's David, who knows? So mark your calendars, 9 p.m. Eastern every Monday night to come to this training, because this is the training ground for those that really want to crush it when it comes to making money. Also, throughout the week, we have a couple of other things going on that you should know about. First of all, is Wake Up Legendary. That happens Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern for 15 minutes. Now, Monday through Thursday, it's inspiration, motivation, mindset. But on Friday, we have a special call, Free Coaching Friday, which is actually roughly an hour long. And it is also co-hosted by Steph Perez, who is one of our members in the community, and she's an awesome trainer. She might even be watching tonight. What's up, Steph? So she was the one that actually did the wake-up call all week last week as we were in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, on our lifestyle experience trip. All right, so mark your calendars Monday through Friday, Wake Up Legendary. Here's how you can jump onto that. Number one, you can call in 563-999-1286, or you can go into our Facebook business page by searching on Facebook, Legendary Marketer Official. Either one, you can dial in and listen, and of course on Friday you can participate personally. All right, so that's sort of the lay of the land of what's currently going on. Now, if you're brand new to Legendary, as I said before, welcome, but make sure that you book your call with your game plan call with your coach, and here's why. If you're here to actually make money and not just study marketing training, that is the first step for you. And the reason that's the first step is because in your back office, you'll see 15 core steps. The first 6 is what I like to personally call orientation. And not only do you have orientation, you have a guide in your coach to navigate with you through those videos. So make sure you go into your back office, book your game plan call with your coach, let them walk you through those very first 6 videos. I'm thinking about the training. I'm trying to cover so much ground. Those 6 videos, and then they'll help you make a decision on what's the best option for you to move forward. We also have a series of boot camps that are going to be launched in the month of April. More about that next week. But just know that those of you who really need to take your business to the next level, but you really need that hands-on training, you need maybe some foundational understanding of lead generation, traffic and conversion, sales funnels, email marketing, you name it, social media marketing. The boot camps are going to cover that ground. And so next week, we'll dig more into that, and you have an opportunity to come to our first boot camp, which is in late April. So just stay tuned for that, all right? Well, tonight it's all about content, and it's all about giving you the skills necessary for you to take your business to the next level. So if you're on Facebook right now, give me a shout out. I'll shout your name out as I see you. But I'm going to dive right into this. If you don't know my story, back in 2009, I was a former cable installer from Ohio, and I got an email, I think it was, or something online that led me to a link that I clicked on, and I watched the video, and the guy on camera convinced me that I could make money from home. I paid a I think it was $1 test drive to get into the system. And then maybe 2 weeks later, they started charging me $50 a month. Okay. 30 days later, I got my first check of $30, and I cried looking at the check because at that moment, I realized that it was possible for me to make a living. I thought $30 was like, if I can make $30, I can make 300, I can make 3,000. And about 18 months later, with a lot of hard work, I was able to actually relocate here to Tampa, Florida from Ohio. And I've been here ever since. So I've won awards. I've been featured in different things. I've spoke on stages, trained, you name it. I've been involved with Legendary Marketer directly for about roughly 8 months now. David Sharp and I have been knowing each other for quite a while, but I started off as a coach. That's why they still call me Coach Larry. I started off as a coach. I was one of those guys helping you close those $1,000 sales. And then I started emceeing our events, and I started doing trainings, and then I was invited to become the director of training. So that's my role today. I'm the global director of training here at Legendary Marketer. So a lot of the stuff that you're going to see coming out to help you build your business is basically being driven by me and the team that I'm developing, which includes Nico and others. All right. You know what? There is one more thing I want to mention that you definitely need to know about, and that's our Blog for You service. Long story short, I had this idea when I wrote my vision for this position that I wanted to create content and deliver it to you guys in the form of digital training, live events, and real-time support, so that if you want to use Legendary to make money, you don't have to go anywhere else. Making all kind of noise behind me. So one of the questions I had to ask myself is, how do I make it easier for people? Because it's difficult when you're just getting started. And blogging is one of those things that is an incredible resource to help you generate leads and get success. But the truth is, it's a skill that you got to develop. So what I decided to do is use the blog platform to kind of bridge you to the result that comes from blogging by using my knowledge, my skills, my writing, my videos, and the team I'm developing. And so you can actually go to the blog and just grab any of those links to any of the blog posts, and you can use those for marketing, and they'll be tracked back to you. Now, in our Facebook group, we have a full-blown video that explains the details, but if you don't get the real value of that, let me tell you what the real value of that is. You can leverage the power of two guys, me and David Sharp, who have more than 20 years of experience, and between us have generated over $200 million in commissions, 199 million of it, David. Okay, and we put that on the blog so that you'll be able to use that as just one of the tools to help you build your business, and there's no extra cost to do that. So go check out the blog and see the content that's constantly being added to that to help you build your business. All right, so let me take a look here and see who's on Facebook, who might be shouting out. I want to see if you guys are paying attention enough to say what's up to me. Let's see who we got here on Facebook. Then we're going to jump into this thing. All right, we got Andre Miller, we got Adam Watt, we got Brian Parisho, we got Jackie Thomas. Welcome to tonight's training. I can't see everybody because I think you guys are posting all over the group, but we got more than 100 people live right now, streaming from all over the world. So I'm glad you guys are here. All right, without further ado, let's jump into this thing. So tonight's all about content, and I'm not going to do a technical training. You know, my style of training is more parabolic in a sense. I like to tell stories, and I like to use analogies and draw pictures and stuff. So to make it simple on you, I'm going to do that tonight. But I think it's time to pull on the board. Some of you seen me do this before, so let me do it tonight. I like having fun with this thing. All right, I'm left-handed, so I got to stand over on this side. All right, so tonight it's all about creating content that's going to help you run ads. It's going to help you do blogs, videos, marketing of any type. All right, so I'm going to use the board to kind of break down some things, but here's what you got to understand conceptually. Let me tell you a quick story. I remember seeing this picture of a guy sitting in a park, and he had birds sitting on his head, sitting on his shoulders, on his knees, and they were literally eating out of the palm of his hands, and he was in a public park. And I marveled at the picture because, you know, when I go to the park, birds run for me, the squirrels run for me, the ants run for me. Nothing like that happens for me, right? And so I was like, wow, how is that possible that a guy could come to a public park and have that kind of impact? And so I thought about it, and you know what happened? One day, way back in the past, this guy came to that park, parked his car, had some bread, got out the car, picked off the bread, threw it out there. Not a single bird came down out of the tree while he was there. He got in his car, he left. That was the first day. He came back the next day. with the same bread to the same park in the same area where those birds were. He pieced the piece off, threw it out there. Not a single bird flew down. He got in his car, left. That was the second day. He came back the third day, the fourth day, the seventh day, the 14th day. Did it consistently, and not a single bird flew down to take the bread. But one night, the birds got together. And the birds start talking about this guy coming to throw the bread out. Like, man, you know that dude's going to come out here and throw that bread out. You know, one of us has got to come down while he's there because maybe he'll throw more out because he's only been throwing out one crumb. So the birds drew straws that night, and one unlucky bird was the one that had to fly down while the guy was out there. So the next morning, the guy comes just like regular, pulls the bread out, throws it out there, right? And had one bird who drew the short end of the stick, flew down there, grabbed the bread, and flew back up to the trees. And all the birds got to see that the bird didn't die, right? So now they have somebody, one of the birds, I should say, has consumed it, didn't die. So the next day he comes out, he does it again, and more birds start flying down. So the guy gets smart, though, and he starts to throw the bread at a shorter distance every time he would come, and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And then he would drop it right at his feet. And one day he decided to put bread in the palm of his hand and put it out there for the birds. And the first bird to hit that bread in the palm of his hand was the very first bird that led all the other birds to the guy. And so then that marvelous picture I talked about was snapped by somebody walking through the park, as amazed at that scene as I was. So what's the point of the story? Tonight it's all about feeding the birds. It's all about you understanding that you have to consistently deliver to your marketplace what you know they want and need. And sometimes without you knowing it, without you ever recognizing it, without you even feeling it or experiencing it, they will not consume what it is that you have in your presence because they don't trust you yet. But what you got to be convinced is that you have the right thing for the right person. In other words, you got the right breadcrumb for the right bird. And if you are consistent in delivering that value to that marketplace, it's impossible for you guys not to finally succeed. Does that make sense? Let me jump back on Facebook and see who's out there. Give you guys a couple of more shout outs. Who else we got out there tonight? Any more shout outs we got here? All right. Okay, we got Ingrid is on the webinar. Dawn Wallen from North Dakota is on. Tina Schreier is on tonight. All right, we got people jumping. We got Rudy Banks from New York. Who else we got jumping on tonight? Come on now, keep it coming. I see somebody typing. All right, we got Ryan Blair. What's up, Ryan Blair's on tonight. And many others are probably popping on. So I'll jump back on here and see who else is out here. But am I making sense so far? Is it really starting to is the foundation being laid in the way that you get it? All right. So if it is, let's keep moving. So let's talk about content. Okay, content. The last place that you want to focus on is the tactic of the marketing strategy. When I say tactic, a tactic is videos. Okay, and people want to know, how do you do videos that generate leads? That's a tactic. All right. Another tactic would be audios. Okay, there's podcasting, there's all kinds of stuff. Any questions? How you generate leads or sales with audios? Another one would be, blogging. Okay, how do you generate that? What else we got? Audios, videos, blogs. We got actually posting. A lot of people are into posting in Facebook groups or social groups like Instagram. The question is, how do you get leads by posting? What's another one we got? We have actual ads, okay? Now, we talking about ads that are paid, ads that are free. So these are all tactics. These are all tactics. And where most people get hung up is they want to talk tactical. But really where you want to be is you don't want to be tactical. Here's what you want to be. You want to be strategic. Because if your strategy is sound, it won't matter which tactic that you use. And so tonight, what I want to do is teach you strategy so that when you get the strategy, it won't matter which tactic you decide is best for you. It will work, going back to the feeding the birds analogy. Okay. So tonight's about strategically learning how to feed the birds with whatever tactic you decide to deploy. Is that making sense? Let me jump back on Facebook and see who we got out here tonight. Who else is live on Facebook? See who we got here. I like talking to you guys live. Anybody else want to acknowledge themselves? If you're wondering where I'm going into our Facebook group to kind of see who's interacting with me live. All right. But we're going to keep it rolling. Okay. So we're going to talk strategy. Now I'm going to use another story. Like I said, I'm a storyteller. I like parabolic examples because they sink in. So we're going to talk strategy. But if you get feeding the birds, let's keep in step with that. So first of all, there's a couple of things that we need to appreciate about how a person comes upon deciding if you are someone that they want to trust. Okay. So there's a couple of things that you got to be clear on before you even make any marketing efforts at all. Okay. The first thing you have to understand, okay, you mind if I switch analogies? Now, I talked about birds, now I'm going to talk about fish. Okay. So we're going to talk about fishing. All right. Let's assume that you and I decided we wanted to go fishing one day. Now, I've never really fished much, and let's assume you've never fished before either. But I do know this. If I asked you what would we need to start fishing, I guarantee you would say, Larry, we at least need bait. Okay? Because we know fish are hungry. All right? But that's not really the beginning, but that's probably the first thing you would say. But we also need to know, well, what kind of fish are we trying to catch? Okay, because in order for us to have the right bait, we got to know what kind of fish we're trying to catch. Now, once we know the fish, then we can select the appropriate bait for the hungry fish. Okay, so bait is also a problem. Okay, this is the metaphor for bait. Bait is a problem. Bait is a pain point. Okay, bait is a question that needs an answer. Okay, bait is a solution. Okay, any number of things. Now, here's the key thing about bait. We have one focused bait for one focused fish. In other words, we're not going out and just getting any old bunch of random bait for any old bunch of random fish. If we want to catch a fish, we need to focus on a type of fish and use a very specific type of bait. Does that make sense so far? All right. Now, number 3, once we know the fish and we know the bait, the next thing we need is some equipment. Okay, right? We need equipment. So what type of equipment do we need? Well, we need a pole. Okay, and that pole is probably going to need a hook. Okay, we need a boat. We need, okay, what else do we need? We got a bow, pole, hook. We'll probably need some gear. Okay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what am I talking about here? Talking about that stuff right there. That's our equipment. And the final thing that we need, where do fish live? Okay, they live in water. Okay, so water is a metaphor for what I'm talking about, because what we're talking about is, where do the fish that we want to catch with this bait actually swim? Are they swimming in an ocean? Are they swimming in a pond? Where are they exactly? So the water here could be, for example, YouTube. Okay, that's a body of water that your fish is actually swimming in. Okay, another body of water could be Facebook, which you're probably watching me on. Another body of water could be, I don't know, let's say some social network outside of the ones I mentioned. It could be a blog site. It could be an offline publication. In other words, does your fish actually go out and buy a magazine that you could actually have an advertisement in with the right type of bait for them? All right. So what bodies of water would your fish swim in? Help me out, y'all. Jump in there and tell me, if you understand this metaphor, what am I talking about? Okay. So it could be offline. Are there organizations? Okay. Is there an organization of people that gather together for any specific purpose that is specifically the target market that you want to tap into? All right. Another body of water could be an actual, how do I want to say this? Like, we have stay-at-home moms. Okay. That's a specific type of fish. All right. We have et cetera, et cetera. All right. You are a specific type of fish in this analogy. Okay. So if you can get these things, this is how you start to now craft your strategy so that you can start basically getting in front of the fish you want to catch. Because a fish is only going to bite on bait it's got to be 2 things. Okay, 2 things have to be in existence for the fish to bite. Now we're sure we got the right fish and the right bait, but two things have to be in existence. All right. You have to offer the bait. Okay. And that fish must be hungry enough to bite it. All right. And they must be hungry enough to bite it. Now, here's the challenge where most of you struggle. Okay. And this is why I see this all the time in our group when it comes to leads. Okay. So leads equal fish in this example. So where most of you struggle is you may be taught the right bait for the right fish, and you drop your line into, let's say, solo ad water. Okay, that's another type of water. There's a solo ad. You run a solo ad, okay, and you may get 100 people to actually opt in to your site. Okay, but these fish aren't necessarily, they didn't bite the bait in a way that you're going to lead to a sale. And the reason is because they weren't really hungry enough. Or I should say they were only hungry enough to nibble on the little sample of bait that you gave them. They may not be ready to really bite down on the full solution. But where most of you struggle is you don't really understand the concept is you first of all have to take fish from somebody else's pond and put them into your own pond. And that's called an email list. Okay, you got to put them into your pond from somebody else's pond and build an email list. And then from that, you start to build a relationship. And then there's a percentage of them that will allow you to catch them. Okay, a catch is a sale. Okay. Is it making sense so far? So let's jump into Facebook and see what we got here. All right. Ingrid said, how about fishing for shark or a whale? Okay, cool, right? Okay, so back to my point here is that I must get really solid at understanding the effort necessary in order for me to position myself as valuable. A fish sees your value as strictly in what it is you're baiting them with. So let's get into some examples, okay? Because if you're going to create content, if you're going to do ads, you're going to do videos, you're going to do blogs, let's talk about some examples of how this looks. All right, so let's say that, let's put a pastor up here, okay? Now, this is so off the grid, it should make sense as we start to list these, all right? So we're talking about if you have a desire to help a pastor who is running a church, the question is, what is the pastor's pain, okay? What would be something that you could come off the top of your head and think that a pastor's pain is, okay, or his problem or his challenge, okay? So here's what that would be as an example, okay? It could be members, all right? So a pastor is saying, man, you know, I got 50 members, I want to get to 100, but I've done everything I know how to do to get to the 50 I got, I'm stuck, right? So now we've identified that this pastor has some pain. He has a problem. He has a question and needs answers, okay? All right. So now what we got to do now is understand you come along, okay, and you are somebody who has been helping churches to build their ministry base for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years or whatever the case might be. This is assuming that this is your fish, okay? That's assuming that this is your fish. Your fish is pastors, and the pastors are looking for more members, right? So now what we got to identify is, what are you going to put in front of that pastor that will be the bait? Because the real solution you have is a course, a training, a boot camp, a mastermind, a conference call, a hangout, a membership site, blah, blah, a live event, whatever, okay? But that you can't give them that yet because, like the bird example, they have no earthly idea who you are, so you got to throw them a crumb. Now, in our world, we call that crumb various different things. It could be a free gift. It can be another term is a lead magnet, a dangling carrot. In this example, we're talking about fish and bait. So what's one thing we can give this pastor? Okay, so this would be the thing that you want to lead with as the bait you will hook it with. And so we're talking about a pastor getting more members. We're not talking about getting him to a class. What we're talking about and this is off the top of my head, is it could be I'll call this a magic sermon. Okay. So you say that you have uncovered a magic sermon, or the number one sermon that pastors preach that helped them to increase their member base by at least 10%. Now, this pastor has 50 people. He's trying to get to 100, but he's stuck. He already knows he's stuck. You come along with a magic sermon that he said, if you download this sermon and you memorize this sermon, you can expect to get 10% increase in your member base. Now, it's not his ultimate goal, but what you're doing is you're putting him on what we call the continuum of belief that it's possible. So his pain is about to get somewhat taken care of because I am breaking him off a very specific solution to a very specific problem, even though it's only a little bit. So he can go from 50 to 55 members by downloading your magic sermon. Okay. You see how closely related the bait is to the actual problem? And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what gets you to the final destination to this point. Okay. Is the pastor saying, yes, I want that. And that yes is them giving you their name or their email address on a website somewhere that you have put out there, because you have on a web page, download my magic sermon, the blueprint to the magic sermon. Does that make sense? All right, let's keep going. Let's pick another fish. Let's say that we're going to use, let's say, a real estate agent. Okay. So this is our new fish now. So real estate agent. Okay. So following the blueprint I've given you so far. Okay. So we're talking real estate agents. What will we put in this line as something that a real estate agent will be a problem for a real estate agent? Okay. Should be pretty obvious. If you've ever owned a house or listed a house. Okay. We're going to say more listings. Okay. So a real estate agent, we can conceptualize that if that's they're in the real estate business, how they make their money is buyers or sellers. It's just that simple, right? So making this very, very simple. And by the way, we can branch off of any one of these things. We're talking about members here. The pastor can be talking about actual more offerings. It could be growing their missions. It could be, any number of things. And same thing for the real estate agent, any number of ones that we list. But what I'm trying to focus you on is the key to you being able to start using content to generate leads is you got to have a singular focus. You got to match a single problem with a single solution. Don't worry about a big solution. Don't worry about a long solution. A very temporary, pain-relieving solution that gets them to believe that it's possible that not only they can get to their ultimate goal, but you're the one to get them there. But this is how you start, all right? So more listings, all right? Well, if we're talking about more listings, then what's the bait going to be here, okay? This could be a 5-step listing system, okay? And you can have a 5-step listing system that, let's say, and this is awesome for some of you to hear this. Let's say that you don't know much about real estate, but you want to get in this niche, and you happen to know there's somebody in your marketplace that's the #1 real estate agent in that region, and they get more listings than anybody else. And they say, well, I have these 5 steps that I go through in a listing presentation that when I do that, 80% of the time I'm going to get the listing, and it doesn't matter what my competition is doing. I can get them 8 out of 10 times. I'm going to close that. So this could actually be an interview, okay? This could be an interview. You sitting down with the expert in that niche. So now it's not about you. In this first example, it's about you. This one is not about you. It's about you recognizing that there's somebody else that's greater at knowing what to do than you are, and you become the source of value, even though it's not you talking, even though it's not you that's delivering the information or has the expertise. It doesn't matter. It's what I like to call the Oprah Winfrey effect. If you think about who Oprah Winfrey is today, 30 years ago, Oprah Winfrey was just a reporter. She started off as a news reporter. Then she got her own show in Chicago. But the way Oprah became super popular is that she had guests come to the show. So Oprah became Oprah by not being Oprah to start with. She was just a regular personality, but over time grew because she had the power of interviewing people. And today Oprah is a billionaire. Okay, so you have this video interview or this audio interview, or it could be a written interview. You could transcribe it or have all of those functions, all of those options to deliver the value. But guess what's going to happen? You're going to get that yes that we talked about, because what they want to know is, what are these 5 things that this guy is saying that's getting him 80% listings when this agent over here might be stuck at 25%. Okay, and this guy is up at 80%. If this guy can just get to 30 or 35%, it would radically increase his income. Does that make sense? Let's go on. If this making sense, hit me up in the Facebook group and tell me this is making sense for you. Okay, Jack Thomas is saying it's making so much sense. Who else is this making sense for? Don't let Jack be the only one. I'm gonna take a quick break. I gotta grab my charger. I forgot to bring my charger. Hold on, peeps. I got too excited, y'all. I know y'all can still hear me. Forgot to bring my charger over here. Stand by 1 second. This is where I needed Nico, and he done rolled out. Thanks, Nico. Appreciate it. By the way, while I'm getting myself together here, if you got some questions, go ahead and throw your questions in the Facebook group, and I'll do my best to get your questions answered, okay? All right. Sorry about that, peeps. All right. We good? Looks like we're good. Okay. So is this making sense? Tina says, let me see here. This is great. So much sense. Cool. Ingrid says it's cool. Julie is cool. Carl. What's up, Carl Robinson from Connecticut? All right. He's a true legendary marketer. He's been around for as long as I've been around. All right. Okay. So these examples should really anchor your value, because tomorrow when you go write your blog or do your video or post your ad, ask yourself, am I focused enough on one thing that I can help a person take just one step in front of them to get closer to where they want to be? Let's use some more examples here. All right. Matter of fact, y'all throw me out an example. Why don't y'all challenge me on this? Throw me something out here. Natasha Davis says yes. All right. Give me somebody that, let's test my chin a little bit. All right. I don't know everything. In the base, I'm not a pastor. Don't know nothing about pastor, but this makes enough sense for you to see that I get it, right? So real estate, I don't do real estate. I've owned homes and rented apartments, but this makes sense, right? So what do you got for me? Challenge me on this. All right. Challenge me. Help me out, y'all, while we're doing this live. I'm going to think of one more, but I want to see if you guys can help me out to think of one. Let's see here. Go ahead and type that in. I see you guys have a thread going, so just type it in that same thread that you guys got going here. All right. So let me think of another one while we're waiting. Okay. Let's say that I'm trying to think of something really out the blue. Okay. Let's see here. Chiropractors. Okay. So chiropractors. Okay, chiropractor. So thank you, Julie. All right. So let's play the game. All right. And this is the exact game you should play with your, with your marketing self, so that you can kind of figure out where you want to go. So a chiropractor. Okay. So what's a chiropractor want? Okay. All right. So now let's break this down specifically. A chiropractor may not just want, because obviously there's more clients, right? But let's just say they want more back pain clients. Okay. All right. So it's not just any old type of client. They want more back pain clients. And let's say they want more back pain clients between the ages of 40 and 50, and he wants them to be females. Okay. Now you see how specific I'm getting, and I'm doing that for a reason so you can understand that not all chiropractors are made the same. So this particular chiropractor is looking for more back pain clients of middle-aged women. Okay. So that's the key. If that's the truth, the next question we got to ask ourselves is, what's the bait? Because we're looking to help the chiropractor. Okay. So what would be the bait? Somebody help me out. What's going to be the bait for this chiropractor? You've been watching me long enough, so you should get this. Okay. Okay, Jackie says, how do you know which bait to use and when? Okay, great question. I'm going to come back to that. That's a great question. So help me to answer this one, though. Chiropractor, more back pain clients, females, okay? So what's one thing what would be the bait for this guy, okay? So far we talk about magic sermons. We're talking about 5-step. We're talking about an interview. What can this one be, okay? Let me go ahead and help you with this one. This could be a survey. Okay, I should have used blue, but whatever. Okay. So the bait here could be a survey. Now, what do I mean by that? You can post a questionnaire to the chiropractor and say, hey, do you struggle with these 5 things to get more middle-aged female clients? If so, take the test. Or do you struggle to get more clients, female clients between 40 and 50? If so, take this survey or take this test to see if, in fact, you have an area that needs attention. So this is what we call the survey or the test bait. So I've given you 3 different types of bait here that you can actually use. Does that make sense? Let's see who's helping me out. Okay. Awesome. Free adjustment. I love it. So let's go ahead and put the bait here as a free adjustment. Okay. So that's 2 different types of bait that could actually be used to get this chiropractor. Okay. I love the free adjustment, right? And you can specifically target women in this age group and say, okay, now this is about to answer Jack's question. His question was, how do you know which bait to use when? Okay. First of all, you have to test. Okay. Remember, whenever you're doing anything brand new, you kind of know, this makes logical sense that a chiropractor will give a free adjustment to try to attract. So he's going to have to run a test, okay? So he's going to say, I'm going to get an ad up and running, and I'm going to ask a question. Are you a woman between the ages of 40 and 50 who experience back pain because you sit at your desk all day at work? All right? That's a call out. Now, it's going to completely eliminate all the men, which is fine because it's not what they want, okay? It's going to completely eliminate the men. It's going to completely eliminate women younger than 40 and older than 50 because he's going to specifically say that, right? And so of the pool of women that he is targeting, these are all the right type of fish that he wants to catch. Which one of them are hungry, okay? In other words, or in pain in this example, enough to say, yeah, that's me. And he says, well, how would you like to come in and I waive my normal adjustment fee to give you an opportunity to get some relief, okay? If somebody's back's hurting enough, they're definitely going to be interested in that, right? So what they could do is he could say, well, to schedule an appointment, just give me your name and email, and I'll reach out to you. Or he may just have a calendar up on a website somewhere after they give him their information, not before. You got to capture the information first. Then once he captures the information, it may pop up with a calendar where they can schedule themselves in. Okay, that's a way to do it. Or he could have someone call him. It doesn't really matter. But even in that example, it's a test. He may test to see, in our world, we call it a split test. So he's going to test. In this example, we'll test the free adjustment and the survey, and we'll put them both out there to that target market, and we're going to figure out which one gives us the better results. And how do we know? Well, we'll run 100 people, 100 women to this one and 100 women to that one. And if out of 100 women, 43 say yes to this, and out of this one, 23 say yes, then this is the winner. That's a test, right? So you're going to come up with some logical ways to think about how you can dangle the carrot, but the key, though, is in both of them examples I just gave you, they both got results. They may not have been great results, equal great results, but it doesn't matter. They got results. You know, it would be different if a chiropractor started talking about how to, get a sermon, which I know sounds ridiculous, but believe it or not, a lot of you do that in your own way. In other words, okay, you want to attract a chiropractor, but you're talking mindset. You want to attract the chiropractor, but you're talking about your life story. You want to attract the chiropractor, okay, but you're talking about how terrible it was the last time you went to a chiropractor. You're not matching what this person is looking. See, look, everybody tunes into this station. Okay, if this is a radio station, everybody tunes into WIIFM. What does that stand for? What's in it for me? So they're going to say, I'm a chiropractor, and you want my business? You're not going to sell me just by saying you have a product for me. You got to give me something of value first. You got to go first. You got to make me better than I was before I came upon your website, even if I never do any business with you, because that's a spirit of goodwill. All right. So you got to be willing to go first. And that's what all of these examples mean is I'm willing to go first, and I'm willing to give you something that's so valuable. And here's another thing. It has to be valuable enough for the person that's trying to get it to recognize that there's real market value. Okay, there's real market value in a free adjustment because adjustments cost. There's real market value in interviewing somebody like this. People like this charge $500 to $1,000 an hour just to get questions answered if they're at that level. So if you can sit down with somebody for 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour, they'll recognize that I would have to spend $500 to get that access to that person, and this person's giving me access. That's what we're talking about. So it has to be true value to the marketplace for you to have a shot at generating leads. Because really, it's not about just generating the lead. All you're really trying to do is get yourself a position to make a sale. But you can't get there if you're not creating content that's going to answer questions, solve problems, relieve pain, provide advice, clear confusion, whatever the case might be. Okay? Make sense? So hopefully that answers your question. Now, as you run your test, the next thing is you want to track. And I already talked about this a second ago when I went 23% versus 43%. My tracking is telling me that A or B bait is going to give me a percentage return. Okay? So if A was the one that gave me the greater percentage return, okay, that one gets the check mark. I stop using this one and I keep going with this one. Okay, which is when we talk about scaling. In other words, whatever it took for me to get this result, and I know it's a good one, I can add more money to it because I know I can get a better result because I tested it first. All right. Man, I'm going against, man, time is running so fast. It's 9:45. I got a few more minutes to go. Let's see here. All right. Yep, adjustments, assessments. Okay. All right. And as English says, you add so much value that you become a magnet. That's exactly right, okay? Which is where I'm going to go next because I need to wrap this up for you guys. Okay, so actually, you know what? Before I flip over, let's go to our industry specifically because let's talk about what we're here for. You got to know the industry that you're in, and you got to know your business before you can even understand this. So this all makes sense to you because you guys can conceptually go, I'm clear on what a pastor is. I'm clear on what a real estate agent is. I'm clear on what a chiropractor is, but I'm cloudy on what I am. And the cloudiness that you have about who you are and what you represent is why you guys go out and try stuff that doesn't work because you're not clear on who you are. So let me try to give you some clarity, okay? If you're involved in Legendary Marketer, here's what you are. You're either someone that's providing a home-based business that's on a computer that someone can actually make money with, a home-based business, or you're providing a training platform for someone who already owns a business, on or offline, but wants to do it in a digital environment. They don't want to be offline. They want to figure out how to do it online, Facebook, YouTube, etc. Okay. So so now we got to figure out who is your fish. Okay. So let's just say your fish is an existing, I misspelled existing business owner. Okay, an existing business owner who wants to learn, let's say, YouTube marketing. Okay. All right. So there's a lot of words, but they're an existing business owner who specifically wants to learn YouTube marketing. Okay. And let's say this business owner is I'm going to say a public speaker. That's a business owner, okay? Public speaker. If you got a better business owner for me, that's fine. You can tell me. All right. So this is our fish, is an existing business owner who happens to be a public speaker, and they want to use YouTube marketing. Okay. Now, I'm sorry. You know what? I did this kind of out of step, but I think you guys can flow with me though. It's an existing business owner, and they want to YouTube results. Okay, that's what actually how I should have did this. Sorry. Okay, so their question is, I want to get more YouTube results. In other words, and when I say YouTube results, it could be specifically subscribers. They want to know how to get some YouTube subscribers. Okay, they got a YouTube channel and they got 2 subscribers. The channel's been up a month, and they put up 20 videos, and they got 2 subscribers in a month, and they're frustrated. Okay, you notice the pattern? There has to be pain. There has to be pain, and you must know what that pain is. All right. So now we got to ask ourselves, what's the bait? Okay. So help me out. If this person is an existing business owner who's a public speaker, okay, that's the fish, and we know that what they want is more YouTube subscribers. Okay. Well, what's the bait? Help me out. Let me see. Make sure you guys are getting this. I need you guys to help me out, because this don't matter about me talking. What matters is you guys getting this. So tell me, what would be the bait that we would give this person? All right, jump in here and help me out. Those of you watching this on replay, you should be getting this. All right, but help me out. What would be the bait? Somebody jump in here. I can't go any further till I get some help. While I'm waiting on help, I'm gonna grab a bottle of water. All right, I'm back. Let's see here. Julie says tips for video creation. Now let's dig into that, Julie, because that's actually where most people struggle. Okay, you said tips for video creation, but what's not clear is how does that actually get me subscribers? So if you were to say, I have this, I want to give you this bait that basically helps you create create videos. But creating videos may not necessarily get them subscribers, because guess what? In my example, they already have 20 videos. They've got 2 subscribers. So you said video creation. That may not necessarily be, it may actually be the solution, but you worded it in such a way that it'll make the fish swim off looking for something else. It was not baited on the hook in a great, enticing way, but at least you're getting your juices going. Video creation is way too general. Okay, look how specific we were here. We've got a sermon. Okay, we've got a 5-step interview. We've got a physical adjustment. Okay, so we got very specific. But I appreciate you stepping up, because it's getting it started. Let's see here. Legendary Marketers Club YouTube training access. Okay, so Ingrid, that's a good attempt, but here's the thing. It's way too big and way too general. You got to give me one solution for the one problem that I have, and you're not speaking specifically to my problem. That's what's the challenge, and this is good that we're even doing this. Okay, Tina says a PDF, opt-in, free info on the solution, but not giving away the farm. Okay, don't worry about the farm. It's not possible to give. We're not even talking about the farm, and that's the last thing you want to do. You definitely don't want to give away the farm, but even if you did, it doesn't matter, because that's ultimately not the goal at this point. You need to give me one specific solution to my one specific problem, and you got to tell me that that's the solution. Okay, you got to tell me. So y'all, this is why we're doing this tonight, because this is why you guys struggle. You're way too general. You're way too in your head. I'm trying to get subscribers, right? How do I get more subscribers? Okay, and you don't even really have to know a lot about YouTube to know the answer to this. You just got to get very specific. Okay, all right. So let me go ahead and move on, and I'm going to give you the answer. I'm going to give you an answer. Okay. We got a public speaker here who is looking for more YouTube subscribers. Okay, so why don't we go back to a similar example we had before, the real estate agent? Why don't we go ahead and find a public speaker who has a YouTube channel that has 10,000 people on it? Okay, and he's saying, hey, I make 6 figures a year as a speaker using YouTube, okay? And I have a 3-step subscriber. See how I use the word? Because this is what they want, okay? 3-step speaker subscriber blueprint. Okay. So we got a credible source. This is just one idea. I have a credible source because this person is a speaker who has a YouTube channel that has 10,000 subscribers. They've said I make a 6-figure income full time, and YouTube is the #1 way I do it. And I have a 3-step speaker subscriber blueprint that will lead you to getting your subscriber up to the point where you can start getting booking speaking engagements. Does that make sense? One solution to one problem. That's it. All I need them to do is say yes, because I need to get them on my list over here. Okay. It's all about getting over here to this far right column. And this is on my feet, off the top of my head. I'm really just trying to give you the principles. So when you decide to do a blog, all right, because I got this person on a capture page. Every one of these examples is a 1-page website example of how to get a lead, all right? But even if I wanted to do a blog and I don't have a lead yet, each one of these could be an actual blog post. Today I'm going to talk about this. I read a story about a pastor who had this magic sermon that he did to grow his congregation. That blog post could be about this pastor's name is Joe Brown. Joe Brown's in the Midwest. Joe Brown was on a corner. He struggled. And then he had a mentor who was on his deathbed give him the coveted formula for how he was able to get his mega church, right? And he went ahead and put it up on a website temporarily. I got it. He took it down. You can't get it anywhere else unless you come to this page and give me your email address. And if you give me your email address, I'm going to send you the magic sermon. Okay, blah, 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 all the way down. Okay, so if this makes sense, I'm gonna move on. Okay, be more specific. Got it. Yes, you want to be HD clear in how you're delivering your content, because remember, it's not about the tactic. YouTube's a tactic, but you got to understand the strategy. If I'm going to cut my camera on and I want to target a real estate agent, I'm going to say, hey, how are you struggling with getting more listings in your marketplace? Are you feeling as if there's no more houses for you to list and you're just stuck? Well, guess what? I actually have an interview with an agent in your market. His name is, or her name is, and that person may recognize him. And they sat down with me and they gave me the interview of all interviews. And you're not going to believe this. The reason why they keep getting listings in an up market, a down market, a flat market is because they have a system that they perfected. And 80% of the time when they use that system, they get a result. How would you like to see that interview? Well, I have the interview at no charge or anything. All I'm asking you to do is just give me the email address you want me to send that to. And you see how I said that? I didn't say give me your email address or opt into my site. I said all I need to know is where do I mail it to? Give me the mailing address that you wanted the email to, right? Chiropractor, etc. All right. So if you can start working on this, I can do blog post after blog post after video after article. This could be a paid ad. The paid ad could be just like a question, which is a qualifying question. And then anybody that says yes in their head by reading your question, the answer is here's where you can get it, or here's where you can learn more, or here's where you can download it, or here's where you can consume it, or whatever you want to say. But less is more. You don't have to get into a big explanation. You just have to get enough on the hook, just enough on the hook, and drop it into that water and know that the fish swimming in that water, some of those fish are going to swim by that and say, yep, I ain't ready to bite. All right. Or I bit elsewhere and I got hurt and I'm not interested in biting right now. Okay. Or I'm ready to bite, but I'm going to think about it. And you'll never experience any of this. This is what's happening out here in the marketplace. That's why you don't be emotional in your marketing. Just drop your line in as many waters as you can because you got your strategy down. My strategy is a very specific solution to a very specific problem to a very specific person, period. And I'm gonna just like in the bird example, I'm gonna keep dropping it. And I'm gonna keep dropping it. That's why in marketing, one of the things that's been said is you got to see something 7 times before you see it. This is why you see ads, repetitive ads coming your way, because it's been proven that after a certain point, you're gonna get annoyed and click on it. Just, what is this damn thing? And click on it. See, and that starts the process. And in your mind, you're thinking it's no big deal. I'm not gonna ever buy anyway. But there's a lot of people that come that way, and there's a nice percentage of people that start thinking that said, you know what, now that I've looked at this, I need to check this out. I'm glad I clicked on it, even though I was not wanting to. Marketers like me, that's how we think. We're not worried about everybody, you know, I got 40 clicks and nobody opted in. That it was a test. So the test got the click, but the test didn't get the opt-in. So that's fine. I get rid of that one. I test another one of these baits. Okay. I keep testing baits, knowing that this is not the only problem that they have. My offer could be correct, but I could just be wording it badly or whatever. But that's what you work to learn, which is why most of you need to really dig into whatever tactic that you want, understanding the undergirding strategy behind it. This strategy is sound no matter what you're doing tactically. Where you guys go wrong is you don't spend enough time learning the tactic, the equipment that you're using. You're going into our Facebook group and asking random one-off questions. Somebody gives you a random one-off answer. You run with that and try to do something, and you get snatched into the water, and you're basically drowning now because you didn't really do enough training to really get the tactic down to a science, or at least proficient enough that the strategy can work. Okay, happens all the time, happens every day. Okay, all right, so to wrap this thing up, see here, Ingrid says fire, love it. All right, so to wrap this thing up, we talk about leads, and I want to take you real quick to the final destination, and that's sales. Okay, so a lot of you get caught up. Hopefully I've helped you generate leads. Okay, maybe I'll give you a check mark here, but now we're talking about sales. All right. So it all begins with the list. Okay, you got to build the list. All right. Some of you have heard it said that the money is in the list. How many of you have heard that? All right. Somebody give me a virtual hand raise when the money is in the list. Have you ever heard that before? Maybe you've even said it. Okay. So I'm about to say something controversial, but I'm gonna do my best to prove my point. Okay. The money is not in the list. All right. Okay. Ingrid's raising her hand. Thank you. Ingrid's the most participant tonight. Thank you, Ingrid. All right. So the money is not in the list. Okay. That's not where the money is. Okay. The money. Okay. Let me write it up. Money is not in the list. Okay. Why do I say that? All right. And some of you already know what I'm talking about. Here's how you know the money's not in the list. If you have 100 people on your list, okay, now you've done what I've already told you. You've gotten good at that, okay? Got 100 people on your list, all right, and you send that list an email, okay? And the email is in step with the very reason they're on your list to begin with. So if it's the pastor, it's the magic sermon. So now you know this pastor is interested in things related to sermons. But we remember the original thing he's wanting is members. So every email you're sending from now on is value specific to the thing that he wanted. It's just more of the same, right? However, all right, you send an email out, and out of 100 people on that list, 32 of them actually open it. So what happened to the other 68? Okay, you send out another email, okay, same 100 people, different email. This time, 22 of them open it. And it's not even the same. It's not even the same. It mixes up. You send another email to that same 100 people. This time, you jump into 39 of those people. You're like, oh, okay, you got this 100. Okay, this is, so we're not growing the list. You got the same 100. And then you get a 42 open rate. There's something you did in it. So the open here is a matter of the subject line. Okay? Which, if you're not catching this, this is a training you need to go figure out how to get really good at this part. But I'm not here to cover that. But my point is this. You might be asking yourself, what happened to my list? The answer to that is nothing. That's just how a list works. Some of these people were not that serious to begin with. They weren't as committed as they said. Some people have 4 other people just like you on the list, and they're looking at everybody. Some people lost their drive to even get the answer. Some people got the answer right after they saw your date. There's a lot of it doesn't matter. The money is not in the list. The money is in this audience. The money is in how many people can I keep getting to click on my email and build trust in me. That is where your money is. This is why you got to stop whining about I'm not getting any sales because you haven't built enough trust yet. You got to keep building this audience, right? Right in here, you're averaging around 35 or so people out of the 100, right? You keep on doing this. At some point, a percentage of these people are going to say, you know what, it's time for me to pull out my credit card. You have maxed out the reciprocal value that I needed so I can reciprocate. In other words, I'll give you an example. I had a lady I was on a webinar one night. I was doing a training and I had an offer at the end of the webinar. And I use this technique that I like to call the QVC technique. Now, I made that up, but QVC, Home Shopping Network, when people would buy things, they would come live to they would bring them into intercom or speaker. Hey, Joe from Atlanta, why did you decide to buy this thing, right? And then now Joe from Atlanta is a real person who made a real purchase, telling thousands of other people why he did it. And the reason that's a technique is because that's not the salesperson now talking about how great it is. It's Joe now, this random person saying, hey, I'm amongst you guys listening, and I made the decision because of this reason, and there's relatability power. So back to my point. I use that technique, and I open the lines, and I say, hey, if you bought this product tonight, let me know, and then I'm going to unmute the lines. I'd like you to tell everybody why. This one particular night, I had this lady come on the line, and she said, Larry, I bought your product tonight, but it had nothing really to do with what you talked about tonight. I'm like, okay, where the hell is this going? She said, the reason why I decided to buy this product tonight is not because of this product. It's because of all of the value that you've been giving me up to this point. Conference calls, emails, blah, blah. She said, I just felt like I owed it to you. You hear that? She said, I felt like I owed it to you. I owed you this $100 for this product because, and she didn't say this, I'm saying this, you've given me enough reciprocal value that I said it's now time for me to reciprocate. Okay, so this is why you got to stay engaged with your audience from the list you build. So if this makes sense, if you got 1,000 people out here, you may have 320 people or 220 people or 390 people or whatever, and same percentage, but it's a whole lot more people that say yes. That's why you got to keep on building this list. Stop worrying about how many people is on the list. Just keep building and knowing that you're working to master and perfect the art of delivering unique, specific value to one unique and specific type of person. And this will work itself out. So your money is in this audience that you build. I'm gonna make a bold claim right now. I'm gonna make a bold claim, but it's gonna be in the form of a question. After watching me for the last, what time is it? Okay, it's 10:06. I'm over time when I normally stop at 10. But here's my bold question statement. After tonight's training, the next time you see my name associated with the training, are you going to come? The answer to that is that if you said yes, you are my audience. Whoever's not here right now couldn't possibly be my audience. And you got to know, thousands of people got an invitation to this webinar tonight. Some of you are live, some of you are catching the replay. Doesn't really matter. But honestly, after listening to me tonight, did I deliver anything at all to you that makes you believe in your heart that the next time I see the name Larry and Beecham associated with the word training, will you show up? Ingrid says, of course. So Ingrid, do you not recognize that I know you do, but what I'm getting at is, I recognize the fish that I'm serving. I recognize the problems that you guys face. You came here because of everything I'm talking about. I'm proving my point by the fact that you're listening to me right now. I know what your problem is. Did I do a good enough job of helping you see and understand how you can solve the problem? Now, we didn't break down list building strategies. I just talked about the basics of how to get them on the list. I'm talking about the basics of sales. But watch this. Let's assume, and I don't tonight, okay, but let's assume at this point, I go back up here and I say, we talked a lot about list building. We talked about blah, blah, blah. How would you like it if I were to now take you by the hand and go into some deep details about how to make blah, blah, blah happen, okay? Or I can actually teach you certain scripts that you can send people, okay? Follow-up emails, okay? Or a testing structure, okay? And then at this point in the call, I start pulling out case studies and examples. I may bring a live person to the line. Larry Beach has been helping me, blah, blah, blah. If I do all of that and I make a call to action to buy something, I guarantee you a lot of you would buy it. And the reason you would buy it, and I can say that boldly, is because I made you better than you were before you came without you having to spend money, okay? You invested your time, and your time yielded a return because all of you are better for having been here. But there's a percentage of you that if I gave a call to action right now, your credit card will be out and you'd be swiping it or typing in the number, whatever the case is, because you've learned and understood that if Larry's giving me this kind of value for nothing, I can't imagine what would happen if I actually paid the man to really help me, because I really did help you already. So this is why you guys got to get solid in understanding how to build your business based upon value. There's no other value that matters to the person that you're trying to help than the one that they actually told you they want, because you know them that well, okay? My right knee right now, I've been having some issues in my right knee. I'm not sure what's going on in my right elbow, ironically. And I play basketball twice a week, okay? And the last couple times I was going to go play, I couldn't go play. But I really want to play. I'm voicing to you, I have a problem that's stopping me from doing something I really want to do, right? You got to know that I, at some point, took some painkillers. I'm trying to self-medicate or fix it. Stuff didn't work. What's the natural progression? I need to look further, all right? I may hit Google. I may hit YouTube. I may hit any number of things, and I'm typing in something that I need a solution to. I might come across your YouTube channel and say, hey, you know, I know basketball players, middle-aged basketball players sometimes struggle with knee and elbow issues, okay? So here's one thing that you can take out of your diet that is the root problem to the pain you're experiencing. Let me say, hey, do you eat this? And I go, yeah, I eat that all the damn time. It's like, well, this is the reason why your knee and your elbow are hurting you and preventing you from playing. Take this out of your diet. By the way, Larry, there's 3 other things that you need to put in your diet that will repair or offset whatever pain or damage that has happened because of that one thing that was in there. Those 3 things are on my website. You can just go download those for free. I'm going straight to that website and I'm going to download those other 3 things because they've already made me better. They chose one specific solution, the thing in my diet. They told me what it was. I'm like, dang, I eat that all the time. Like, well, that's why you have the pain, so stop eating that. I'm like, I'm going to stop eating that. And well, there's 3 other things you can add to your diet that's going to help you actually be more, last long. You can play 10 more years. And I'm thinking I only got 3. You telling me I got 7 on top of that 3? I'm definitely going to go see what that is. And this person may have some kind of a sports wellness system training thing out there in the future that they want me to buy. But look, they got me walking down the path. I'm walking down the path. I'm going to start getting emails from this person about, hydration, about diet, about stretching, about exercise, about rest, about recovery, about whatever, because they're blogging or they're YouTube videos, they're doing conference calls, hangouts, whatnot, but somewhere along the line, they're going to start making me offers. And some offers I'm going to say yay to, some offers I'm going to say nay to. One of the biggest, and I'm going to end with this, one of the biggest things that my mentor told me a long time ago is you got to learn how to make, okay, where can I write this? Okay. You got to be offer rich. Now, what offer rich means is I'm not going to give you 40 offers on one call, right? But remember, I'm building an audience, and I'm gonna focus on something that I want to get you in front of, like tonight's training. So if I did an offer for an advanced leads training program or advanced sales training program, some of you will say yes and some of you will say no. The ones that said no, I'm going to see in my numbers who that is. So I'm going to say, okay, well, that offer at that time was not the right one. So next week, I'm going to do a training on this thing that I already know they want that too. I'm going to make them better. I'm going to make this offer. Now, some of you that bought the offer this time will buy that one also. But some of you that didn't buy the first one will buy the second one. And then some of y'all won't buy either. It doesn't matter because the ones that didn't buy either, guess what? I'm offer rich. I got some plan for you later. You might not buy another from me for 9 months. It doesn't matter. I know my market wants to know that, number one, I'm going to make you better. Guaranteed. I'm going to make you better. I'm going to make you better. And I'm going to keep you coming back. I'm going to keep you coming back and coming back and coming back and coming. You eat that bread, for back with the first analogy. You're going to start sharing me with other people. Man, this webinar this guy Larry Beecham does, you got to jump on this guy. And you're going to start sharing. I might not get any sales from you directly, but you might share a training, and then 4 people that you shared it with, one of those 4 may buy from me every single time I sell something because they get so sold out to what I deliver. You might not buy from me ever. You might just be like a person that sits in church year after year and never even gives an offering. They eat on what the pastor's doing, but they never give an offering or whatever. But they bring people to church and those people give an offering. It doesn't matter. That's how you got to see your business in such a broader way. And this is where you're going to start making that 6-figure income. I got to stop. I apologize. Man, I know I could go off all night. But here's the real deal. Have I made you better? That's all that really matters. And what's amazing about this training and others like it here at Legendary Marketer is that this stuff is already in you guys' back office. And if you're not part of Legendary Marketer watching this, why not join Legendary Marketer and give this an opportunity? If you like what you got tonight, man, we got a load of stuff in the back office. We got 8 or 9 specific deep dive trainings that are already back there, and you can get it for $30, okay? $1 a day. You have access to that existing training. We also give you a coach. You know, the moment you become part of Legendary Marketer, whoever, if you're a member sharing this with somebody else, I want you to know on behalf of that member that you're going to get a coach. So not only will you have a training, you're going to get a guy like me or a girl like me. Oh, that didn't come out quite right. You're going to get a coach. It's going to be guy or girl. Okay, and they're going to help you start your journey of solving your problems, relieving your pain, and all of that through our 15 core steps, as well as the training in our back office in our Marketers Club. So did I give you $30 worth of value tonight? I guess that's really the question. Did I give you that for those of you that are not involved in Legendary? If I did, then this is what you can expect at least when you invest the $30, because there's so much more back there. All right, who got value tonight? Everybody said they got value. Rudy said good stuff. Ingrid saying a ton. Krista says definitely. Ryan says yep. Laura, Jackie, thank you guys so much. Well, I got to stop. So as I said, it's been great talking to you guys. So please do me a favor. Number one, in the Facebook group, let people know what you got out of today's training. You know, let people know the value that you got and the value that they actually missed, and encourage them to not miss another training just like this. Next week, I'm going to have a panel of our coaches. So those of you that know we have these coaches in the back, if you don't know, these are the guys and girls who help our members make $1,000 commissions and above. All right. They're directly in the path of helping. There's a part